My wife, BOPIE, gave me a great gift this year. She let me go on a gem rough hunting trip to Kenya and Tanzania with about a dozen other gem cutters. So the trip was about 10 days long, and it consisted of, made up of gem cutters, as I said. We went to Kenya first, and then to Tanzania. We visited a number of gem mines, and yes, I crawled around in more mines than I should have. We met with the government officials over the mining trade in those countries. We met with the miners, with the other rough dealers. We bought a lot of rough in Kenya and Tanzania, and of course we saw the animals of Africa. And in these videos, I'll share with you the trip we had. I think if you ask any of the team that took this trip, they will all tell you that it truly was a trip of a lifetime. So first off, let me introduce the organizers, the host and hostess of our trip, Roger and Ginger Derry. Many thanks to Roger and Ginger for all the hard work they put in to keeping our team of gem cutters on track and keeping us to our itinerary. I'd like to also thank Roger and Ginger for the work they do with the nonprofit charity called Gem Legacy. Gem Legacy, as you will see in this video, supports vocational training, entrepreneurship, and community development in East African gem mining communities. Thanks again. For this trip, we were a total of 11 people, including Roger and Ginger, 8 gem cutters, and 3 spouses of gem cutters. So let me introduce our 8-person gem cutting travel team.
Jumbo!
Banana!
Rafiki!
Rafiki! Cuba, Cuba!
Yeah.
Ah! Welcome to Africa! Where am I?
Our team of gem cutters bonded quickly, and we all had a great time. And we picked up a lot of gem rough on this trip. And here are the remaining 2 members of our team, our 2 drivers, Vincent and Hamisi. I'm introducing them a little early in our story, but they were such a great part of our team that I want to recognize them. Now let me state that for the pictures and clips that you'll see in this video, the team pulled all of our photos and videos, so most of the images are not mine. They come from the 10 other members of the team. And I'd like to thank everyone for sharing your photos and your clips. The gem cutting community is fairly small, and many of our team already knew each other prior to this trip. But as there are limited flights to Kenya, many of us were on the same flight, so we started bonding or getting to know each other together on the flight before we even landed in Nairobi. We spent our first night in Nairobi, ate an early breakfast together at the hotel the next morning, and then we were off to the Kenya rail station to be there by 8 to travel by rail to Voi and the Tsavo National Park. It's about a 4-hour trip by train from Nairobi down to Voi, and we all enjoyed the train ride. Kenya has had a drought for the past couple of years, and in this part of Kenya, it's very dry anyway, so the drought just makes things much, much worse, as you'll see.
Yep, straight out there.
Oh yeah, they're way out there.
A couple of trees with them in it.
Are you looking on this side or the other side of the?
Way out there.
Upon arrival at Voi, Vincent and Hamisi were there to meet us with our 2 Land Cruisers. So we loaded up to go to the Kenyan Gem Center, which is part of the Kenyan ministry. On our way to the Voi Gem Center, we stopped off at the mahogany restaurant for samosas. Samosas in Kenya are as popular as hot dogs are in the USA. And Kenyan samosas are very similar to Indian samosas, and they can be made from beef, chicken, vegetable, or fish. They're all delicious. After lunch, we went to the Voi Gem Center, which again is a part of the Kenyan Ministry of Mining, part of the government. The Ministry of Mining was established as its own ministry pretty recently, after 2013, and it is charged with overseeing the mineral sector of the country, which is vast. The Kenyan government believes that the mining industry has the potential to spur economic growth for Kenya, and that's their goal. Upon arriving at the Gem Center, we were greeted by Mr. Edward Omito. He's the director of the Voi Gem Center, and Mr. Omito was kind enough to take the time out of his busy day to brief us on the status and the future plans for the Gem Center. And we were then allowed to tour the Gem Center, which really is not fully operational yet. The future plans for these 5 trading booths that you see here on the first floor of the Gem Center is that that eventually miners will be able to meet with rough buyers, gem rough buyers, in the Voi Gem Center to conduct their business. They'll basically rent these trading booths to conduct business. We did not use these trading booths yet on this trip to meet with the miners and other rough sellers, but this is the way of the current plan for the way of the future in Kenyan mining.
John, are you going to be able to have all these cut by tomorrow? Just go running with the 4 machines? Yeah,
Okay, for all you gem cutters, no, this was not the start of the which is best for sticking a dop stick to a piece of gemstone rough, wax or epoxy debate, okay? It's not the start of it because the traditional debate started, as it normally does, about 15 minutes after the first 2 gem cutters of our team got together. I'd call this round 2 or round 3, so when we found these dop sticks, the debate ensued and what they're using. Well, who won the debate amongst our team over this 10, 11-day trip? Well, although misguided, I have to say the waxers were the overwhelming majority on this trip. After leaving the Gem Center, we headed to the game drive at Tsavo East National Park. Now, Tsavo National Park was established in 1948, just after World War II, and covers an area previously known as the Taru Desert. Tsavo East National Park is 13,747 square kilometers in size, or about 5,300 square miles. And together with Tsavo West National Park, the area covered is a total of 22,000 square kilometers, or almost 8,500 square miles, which makes this park larger than the size of the U.S. states of Connecticut, Delaware, and Rhode Island combined. It's not quite 3 times the size of Yellowstone Park.
Such cool animals. You just get paid to hang out right there, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's curious about us. Man, what a beautiful animal.
welcome in Africa.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Africa, for having you.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Even this one is male.
This one's a male too?
The middle one is.
Oh.
This is the female. This down one is
Okay.
the female. Upper one is the male.
The male's the one with its head on its stand in the middle?
Yes.
But he doesn't have a big name.
This one is female.
No, you're okay. You're okay.
Male as well. And it's younger than the right one.
Do whatever you need to, Sean. Do you need me to get down so you can stand up?
If anybody want to bush me, do your thing.
Yeah, bush wee wee right now.
So it's not successful. Do adult males have that? You get.
Yeah, the full grown male is the so many. And that one.
I'm surprised they're so calm. Are they used to vehicles being around?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
But if you're outside, they will kill you.
Oh, really? If you got outside, okay. So now's not a time for a jog.
Yeah, they will kill if you go outside. They use the jeep. It happened. But not very often. Because people follow the rules.
After our safari, we continued into the Tsavo East National Park until we get to the location of the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust compound. The Sheldrick Wildlife Trust operates an orphaned elephant rescue and wildlife rehabilitation program in Kenya. It was founded in 1977 by Dame Daphne Sheldrick in honor of her late husband, David Sheldrick. Since 2001, the trust has been run by their daughter, Angela Sheldrick. Let me introduce Mishuru. Mishuru is the latest orphaned elephant to be rescued, and it was last February that the Maasai community reported a young elephant in the area which was too young to be without her mother. The authorities went in and found Mishuru. She had a spear injury. The authorities rescued Mishuru, and she's now being cared for. She's a little bit shy around people yet, and she hasn't quite integrated with the other elephants yet, but she will. She's coming around. So this is Mishuru. What happens is at this site is that every morning the elephants are taken out of their pens at night where they're kept for safety, and they're taken out and walked down this dirt road to an area in the park in Tsavo East where they spend their day in the park just being elephants. There are minders around watching them and make sure they're safe. And they do this every day, and they come back at night. And when the elephant is ready, is what they told me. It's up to the elephant. And when the elephant is ready, probably getting close to 8 years of age, the elephants will return to the wild. Until then, the Sheldrick team cares for them, and they prepare milk for the elephants when they return from their daily visit into the pens at Tsavo every evening. And it's about 5 p.m. when they kind of feed the elephants. And we were lucky enough to be invited to watch this daily event. The elephants come running over the hill, and they're all segregated by age group. They start with the 2 to 4 year olds, 4 to 6 year olds, and then the 6 to 8 year olds. So they each get 2 big bottles of milk, which they seem to very much enjoy, except for the very largest ones who are almost ready to return to the wild. They don't get any milk. There are quite a few monkeys hanging around the Sheldrick compound, and no, it's not because they're being rehabilitated. They're just being monkeys. They're attracted to the alfalfa, which the minders provide to the elephants to eat, and so the monkeys are just opportunistic.
This is so cool. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Why did it do that? I only twisted it on.
One of the these are small on feet.
Yeah, did the little one get anything to eat? Oh, they know where to go. They know their spot or something.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Hi.
Empty the water out first. Whoops.
This one named
The place where they have been rescued, or the place where they have been rescued, or the reason why they have been rescued.
And then we also got one in Dodo. In Dodo. Should be over now. Is that up there somewhere?
It's just coming.
Oh, he's coming. So our other
So,
officer.
we're going to
Oh, is he too big now?
Yes.
He was one of ours. They said it's
This one's bigger. Which one is Embu? You released? Really?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's awesome.
After getting 2 bottles of milk, the elephants are put into their pens for the evening where they remain safe overnight. There's alfalfa and tree branches for them to eat and water to drink. And again, they are segregated by age group. We got to go around to all of the pens and see all the elephants, and some of the elephants are quite friendly.
Tourists like you, when you're driving in the park and you come across a young baby that is not in good shape,
So we can tell you.
Yes, you can tell us. We have KWS rangers, we have community rangers.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
After saying goodbye to the elephants, we went to our lodging, which was at the Voi Wildlife Lodge, where we stayed for 3 nights. And I'll say more about the lodge in a later video, but I needed to introduce the lodge here because, as I said earlier, the Voi Gem Center isn't really yet up and running as the way the ministry envisions it to be. So what we did is Roger put out the word to the gem miners, rough dealers, and the government that we would meet for a couple of hours each morning in the bar area of the lodge to meet with buyers and sellers and buy rough. Roger also put out information on what we were looking for and what we were not looking for as far as rough, so that the mine owners and rough dealers didn't waste their time bringing us rough of a quality we weren't interested in, and made sure they were bringing in what we were looking for. So again, for 2 mornings, large number of gem miners, rough dealers, and a couple of ministry officials came to the bar area of the lodge to meet with our team and buy and sell rough and talk minerals. Basically, when a gem seller showed up, Roger and Ginger met with them, made sure they were bringing what we were looking for, not wasting their time and our time with things we didn't want. Gave them a table to sit at the bar area. And as soon as one of us gem cutters were done with meeting with one of the rough dealers, Roger and Ginger would, bring us over to the newly available table, and we'd start all over again, working through the rough, introducing ourselves, getting to know the sellers, and buying rough. We had been concerned on how to resolve issues if 2 gem cutters found the same stone they wanted, how we were going to resolve it, what rules we would follow. I think arm wrestling was starting to sound like the best tiebreaker that we would use. However, we didn't have to resort to anything. There were no issues. There were no conflicts. Everybody ended up buying plenty of rough. I did pick up this clean tourmaline, which weighed in at 65.6 carats at this meeting place. It was an amazing find for me. And you'll have to ask the other gem cutters what all they bought, and certainly I'm not going to discuss what anybody paid for rough, but you can talk to the other rough cutters if you'd like. I can say that that large, clean pieces of Tsavorite were almost universally at the top of almost all the cutters' buy list, and I think everyone came away with all the other gem cutters came away with a piece of nice, big, clean Tsavorite. For myself, I think that for Kenya, I probably purchased the least amount of rough of any member of the group. I made for it in Tanzania, of course, but in Kenya, when I look back, I picked up tourmalines, several varieties of garnets and sizes, and a wonderful piece of sapphire. But that was it for me. When you see what some of the other cutters bought, I think they were buying much, much more, and good for them. I think everybody enjoyed the rough buying in Kenya. Okay, everyone, I think this is a good place to end part one of this great adventure. We're still going to look at going into the mines, going into Tsavorite mine, going into Tanzanite mines, buying rough in Tanzania. There's still a lot to show in mines and buying rough, and several of the great charity projects that are in these countries supported by Gem Legacy, supporting the miners in East Africa. So stay tuned for Volume 2 and Part 2. And as always, happy fasting, everyone.